Hey craft friends, you know me as the crafting DM, the terrain DM, right? And I love to bring terrain to my games, but there can be an issue when you're doing convention games, right? Now you can see behind me I got all this terrain and stuff, and I can just grab stuff as I need it for my home game, but it's not so easy when you're doing a convention game. You want to have everything you need, you know, packed up, ready to go, easy to get out, easy to display, easy to find. So I have a technique that I've used, and it is using these boxes. Okay, now these are great for transporting stuff because you can see inside the box, they're clear, but it's more than that. It's a lot more than that. I actually build the terrain inside the box and then open the box and present it to the table as a pre-made terrain, right? It's really cool and it works out great. Now, I've used it with several scenarios. I've used it as a derelict freighter, and I've also used it as a atomic mole drilling machine, and that's what we're going to concentrate on today. But yeah, so you just have these compartments of the atomic mole, and I just put a drill bits on the front, and it was ready to go. You know, the terrain was all set up. I just put these down, and they're good to go. So I'm going to show you guys how I utilize these at my convention games, and they're just great because not only can you just pop this stuff out and be ready to go, you can quickly store the stuff, you know, when you got to vacate the premises when it's the next time for the next game. So yeah, these are very convenient, and I'm going to show you the technique of using these plastic containers not only to transport your terrain, but to use it in the game. Thank you. This is my first box, and you can see it's a bit jostled up inside, but we'll quickly fix that because I've got everything in here that I need to set up my first scene. This is going to be the bridge of the ship. So here we go, just set everything up for you real quick. Got some cargo containers, medical beds, and once I get that set up, I have the fun thing here. I call it the BPU, the brain processing unit. So yeah, really cool. So that's the bridge, and look at that, it's all ready to play. Right? I had everything in there I needed, and I can just set it up and put it right on the table and not have to worry about, you see I got a door at the end there because this is the other end of the ship. I was actually having the bridge at the far end of the ship. And yeah, so when you're done, you just turn the light out and pack it up and you're ready for next time. So here's kind of the center of the ship. You can see there's a door on each end, right? And I have, this is the cargo area. So I just had a bunch of cargo containers I put in here. And just set it up. A few troopers. I got the characters, some of the characters. There's a cybernetic ape from the game, really cool. A shadow-like character, none. And yeah, so that's the center of the ship, the main cargo area. And here is the engineering room that drives the drills that you know, make the ship go into the Earth. So I just made these out of some old lightsabers and printer ink cartridge holders. This is the central core, the energy core. So what I did is I just had this LED light, and I just put it on. It'll change colors, so it'll give a fun effect. You know, just cover that up, and it'll change colors. And it's it had to do with the scenario. It's like the special energy that I had in the scenario. So here's the controls to you know, control the turbines for the drill bits, and I got the crew in here, and yeah, so very, very cool, very cool. Here is one of the characters from the game. He's the main engineer, and then it's just ready to go. These are the main drills for the atomic mole, and I thought these looked really cool. And so I did a flat end that just slides right on the front of the front box, and gives the look that this, you know, thing has these enormous drilling bits on the front to drill into the Earth. Here I am running the atomic mole at the convention, and you see how I have it set up. They're just back-to-back boxes. The doors are on the ends there, and they can just move between the modules. The clearness makes it easy to see inside, but gives you the sense that there's walls there, you know, around each compartment. You can see the drill blades up front, So that, that completes everything. I just lay these set them up after the jostling, to get to the convention. Just set them up, lay them up in order like this, put the drill blades on front, and boom, I have an instant, totally accessible terrain piece that's easy to transport. And that's what I love about these things. They are so easy to get to the convention, set up, because every second you waste trying to set up terrain is just a second that the players, are just sitting there waiting for you to get everything ready. So I always try to think of ways that make playability much easier, and I think these are fantastic. I've used them at several games, and it's just worked out great for me. And I just wanted to share this technique for people who wanted to try to bring this to a convention game, but didn't want to have to, set up all the stuff, from scratch and everything. I also used these in a game that I had. It was like a death race on a planet with speeders. And I thought it would be fun to have a smaller scale to the game. So I went with 15 millimeter instead of 28-30 millimeter. And the compartments became much bigger. I used the compartments as a freighter. And it was really great because it gave more of a sense of scale at that size, at the 15 millimeter scale, than the atomic mold did. But it still served the same purpose. Another cool thing I did, you'll see here, is I did smaller rooms inside the bigger rooms and just put the lids of the containers on top with a piece of black on it so that you couldn't see in it. When the players explored the room, I just lifted the lid off and you could see what was in the room. So that was just an easy solution to do something like this and just totally transportable and set up. Now with these, I went even further and used like a sticky tack to glue all the little pieces in place so I didn't have to set up all these little rooms. I'm really proud of this one. This one is a shuttlecraft I did for the 15 millimeter freighter game. And, they were trying to make it to the shuttle and escape. And you can just keep the lid on until they get in the shuttle, and you can take it off and show inside. All the miniatures fit inside, just so perfect and easy to do. And it's just quick. And that's the main thing with this technique. It's just quick and easy. And I really wanted to show you guys this technique because it's going to save you a lot of heartache, a lot of time at conventions, and I think it's fantastic. The floors of the module were very easy, and I just used granny grading or cross-stitch mesh, and I sprayed it with hit it with spray adhesive and glued it to these cutting mats that I got at the Dollar Tree. And the reason I did that is because when I sprayed them silver, I didn't want you to be able to see through the holes in the mat, right? For the caution areas at the ends of the floors, I just used a stencil, and then I just blocked it off and sprayed the yellow first, then sprayed the black. And so it gave a nice kind of caution sign on the floor, and just super easy to make the floors for these. Okay guys, now that's how I use my plastic containers in my games. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about some of the construction I did with these, particularly the drill bits on the front. If you want to stick around and see how that goes, I've got more video for you to watch. So let's go to the table and start working on those drill bits for the atomic mole. To sell the mole, I wanted to really have these dynamic drill bits, and I used these sand molds I got from the Dollar Tree and just added some bits to the front to make them pointed. Then the rest was just basically cardboard. I made the cardboard base, made a little base for the drill bits so they would pop up some, glued all that together. Then, build up an edge, used my paper mache technique to build it up. And then what I did was, I don't have a picture of this, but what I did was I used styrofoam to create the broken rock and painted it with glue and sand, and then painted it up, and that was it. I also put at the end, to cover the holes for the sand molds, I used a cutting board, the cheap cutting board from the Dollar Tree that I used to make the floors. Last thing I wanted to talk about was transporting these modules, and I got this Sterilite 40-gallon tub. It's great. You can fit so much in it, but what I really love about it is it has wheels on the back of it and a handle, and you can pull it around the convention. So you'll see me walking around the convention hauling this giant tub of terrain with me. So if you guys ever see me at a convention, you'll know what I'm hauling around. Thanks again for watching the video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe and all that jazz. Also check out questgivers.com, where we have gaming materials,
particularly also the Quest Givers channel, where you can check it out, talk about ways to run your game, the way Scotty and Gareth run their games. Also, we have system neutral modules, which put story and flavor before stats. So if you're interested in that kind of a game, check out questgivers.com for all our system neutral modules. You guys take care, go forth and craft, and have great games.